atheist
Why?
friend did your friend say yes to the convo?
I hit him up. He hasn't replied back yet.
Mm. Okay,
He,
okay.
he's a really good guy. He's cool. He's really, but
Dude,
but
I'm just like my face is like I just woke up for real. I just woke up from a nap. I'm destroyed.
morning
Brain.
glory, morning glory.
Yeah, yeah. So, dude, when I went to do I had to pay a visit to to my boss because he needed to like I needed to do a receipt and he needed to pay me and such. So I going back on the metro, I saw like two chicks. One of them was drunk, like she asked me where the metro was, and I was literally like two steps from the metro. She was completely blitzed, and like she was dressed
Right
as a
here.
witch. She nah,
Wow.
she and she was like nah, nah. And like another one was puking inside the subway station. Like her friend was like holding her head as she was puking all over the floor. Like these girls were shit faced before 7 p.m. Like Spain is cooked. Like Spain is cooked.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, I live in California. I didn't see that. Well, maybe like in LA. Yeah. But like yesterday, um, I kind of goofed up. So I mean, most of it was my fault. But me and my girl, she wanted to like go. Well, we wanted to just like go hang out. She wanted me to dress
Hmm.
up as Woody, from like Toy Story,
Yeah.
and the costume didn't fit me. And so like we just cut the shirt off and I just wore the shirt. And then but then I ran into like that atheist buddy I was telling you about. And we just started like we just hung out like outside of this bar and just talked for like the whole time.
Hmm.
And I guess it was my fault. Well, I did what I mean by I goofed up was I forgot about my girlfriend. I was like, oh
Wow,
dude.
dude.
I know. And then she got mad
Oh,
at
you
me.
were there.
Yeah. I'm like,
Completely
oh
forgot
hey
about
babe, what are we doing? What's going on? And she's just like, you've been outside for 2 hours. And I was like, really? It was
it.
weird because
Dude.
I didn't even drink. So like, because I was driving and I
Mm.
was just like just time just flew by. Like it was wild. But I
Yeah,
goofed up.
yeah.
That
No,
was, that was a goof up.
I completely get that shit because like it's never happened to me before because the only like long-standing girlfriends that I've had were either like social butterflies or completely socially inept and I needed to babysit them. And like when you have to babysit a girl, like you're not having fun.
No.
You're
Mm-mm.
not having fun.
Mm-mm.
So like I get that perhaps you can spin it in a way that's like, oh no, babe, it's just that I trust you so much that like I thought you were doing fine by yourself. Like you seem like such an independent and like collected person that like
Yeah.
you, you know. And also, if she wanted to hang out, like she could have looked for you. Like if you were interested in having a conversation with your friend, she should have stood by you. Like that's my perspective. Like, but that's just me. Like also, like I have to comment. Like I don't know, man. I think that playing dress up for Halloween is a little bit too much. Uh, but
I
that's
think it's
my perspective.
better. I think it's dumb. And like I get her view on it. Like I even like try to bring up like the origins of like Halloween and like because there's quite a bit of like people who claim to have the origin of Halloween.
Hmm.
And I brought it up to a couple times, but like she's just like, that makes no sense. I thought we were just supposed to dress up.
And like,
I
is
was
she a
like,
Christian? Is she a
yes,
Christian?
she's a Christian, but
Okay.
like she like I get it, but like she's not she doesn't want to indulge in theology. She's like she's a school teacher, so she just likes to, which I get. I guess she doesn't want to like she doesn't understand it. She's well, I'm not gonna say she's dumb, but but uh but no, she just that's just not her wheelhouse to get into like that stuff.
No, yeah,
Uh,
no. I was asking because, um, like I don't think that theology is like heady. I don't think like theology is like a written thing. I think that theology is like what you live out with your love, like the way that your loves are arranged within your heart and how you express them. I think that's theology. So it's not like there's a barrier of entry for people who like it's not about what you read. I don't think the theology is that, but I asked because like sometimes, and this is not don't take this as any kind of judgment or anything because it's not like that. Sometimes us men we have trouble like finding women who are, let's say, align with our vision of the faith. So
mhm.
like we sometimes have to settle or think we have to settle for, let's say, the nearest best thing, and sometimes the nearest best thing is just, I don't know, a nominal Christian. And I know that sometimes like Protestants can go all the range. You can have like a super like committed kind of like Christian who's like on fire for the faith, or you can have like a nominal Christian who's like, oh, God is real, but it doesn't affect any aspect of my life. I just live a worldly life and that's it. And sometimes we as men like having the weight of, you know, I want to get married. I want to do this. I want to have a family. And like all the people I meet, they're just like halfway there. So I might as well, like, if I want to have a family, like make some concessions. And like you end up getting married to a person who's like perhaps nominally Christian. Or, for example, in the case of us Orthodox, we usually end up marrying, let's say, Catholics or Protestants because of the sheer amount of, like, let's say, of Protestants and Catholics over Orthodox. It's just a statistical thing. It's like
Mhm.
we Orthodox are so few that, and most converts are male anyway. So like those male
Yeah.
converts will need to like get married to, if they are going to get married, right? And there's all sorts of issues over there. And I myself, I have to ask this question of myself because, um, it's not just that there's more men than women. Even the quality of the faith of the people there, it's like different. Like the women in Orthodoxy, it's been my experience. I'm sorry, sisters, if like you're offended by this. I know there's a lot of men who deal with self-abuse and that's prevalent as well. I don't want to single out women, but and it's been my experience that the women are like super worldly and like they have very proto-feministic attitudes. Like, for example, the girl that my friend was courting, she was beautiful, she was smart, she's educated, but she was super self-willing. And she said stuff like, I don't know about this saint, I think the church made it up, and this and that. And it's like she had all sorts of, let's say, attitudes that were not very, let's say, pious. And my friend said, no, I'm not going to struggle against this. Like this will drag me down. It's like I'm not going to get married to a woman that will make my life complicated. That's why I was asking if she was a Christian, because like I'm always hearing it now about like the push and pull. And especially it comes up with these kinds of like celebrations, these kinds of like events where like the father says one thing, like, and the mother says no, but the kids like it and this and that, and it's like, no, no, no. You're gonna If you're gonna make an argument about this now, it's like, like, and these things are super tough, man. They're super tough because, to be realistic, and I don't want to be a defeatist. I don't want to be a cuck. I don't want to like say, oh, she's the boss. No, no. But you have to be realistic because you're not gonna get the woman of your dreams. You're gonna get someone who's just as fallen as you. Hopefully, you get someone that will help you more than hinder you in your spiritual life. But
Yeah,
like, yeah, that, because the idea is to work together for the kingdom, to attain the kingdom. So anyway, I was asking because of that.
yeah, and like I've already had this conversation with her. I was like, I'm not dating you just to date you. This isn't just like a where we are at the moment right now
Yeah,
type of thing. It was like my intentions are marriage. So it's like
yeah. And sometimes they have to be told what marriage is. It's like,
I had to
uh,
tell
'cause-
her I had to do that. She's like, yeah, so like would you want like one of your friends to get married to marry us? Like that would be fun. I was like, like no, no. It's like that's not a marriage. I have to be married under somebody who was like an ordained minister. Like I must be married through the church. Like that's the only way marriage exists at all.
how long have you been dating her?
About 5 months now.
Whoa, that's nice. It's getting serious now.
Yeah, so
Starting
yeah,
to.
so now I'm starting to be like, okay, here's this and here's this. Like, okay, we got to know each other. We click. We good. We good. I was like, okay, so here's something to think about, woman.
Interesting, man.
She's
Cool.
just like, is this gonna be like? I was like, well, I'll give her like the whole background on whatever I gave her to think about, and then just be like, and it's if you won't agree with this, then this might be controversial. I don't know about you. Oh my goodness gracious. But I was spanked repeatedly as a child.
Hmm.
Like and the only time I ever got spanked by my mom was if I was doing something extremely dumb in public and she just like grabbed me by the ear and dragged me to the bathroom and spanked me. Then she was we went out.
And how old were you?
Yeah, I was like 5, 6, 8, like that. No, I wasn't like 18.
Yeah.
Easy,
No, no.
cowboy. But
No. I was asking. No, dude. I was asking because like I'm always curious to know. Like, I'm not a developmental expert on kids. I don't know how like, I've seen kids. I kind of gauge by our interactions like the level of maturity. But it seems to me that like spanking them before the age of 3, it doesn't yield the results. But like there's a sweet spot perhaps between the ages of 3 and perhaps 8, where like, and perhaps like at 5 it's like that's the moment where to get them, because like they can start to have like their own like self-awareness. So it's like, it's not just like you're training them like a dog, like you don't do this, but you're like morally shaping them. Like the
Mhm.
Bible itself is in favor of spanking. Like spare not the rod. Like spare the rod and spoil the child, says, I think,
Yeah,
is literally the.
that's what my mom always said. Spare the rod, spare the child. Damn it, John! Come on.
Yeah, and it's not like they're brutalizing you.
No.
It's more like the shame, you know. It's
Mm.
more like the shame of like you're just
Your mom
like
just
demoted.
your mom just whooped your ass. But yeah, and it was like, and then once I got older, I like asked my dad. I think I was probably like I was like in my late 20s, probably like 28, something like that. And I asked my dad, I was like, what was your philosophy of like discipline? Like as all of us growing up, because like I am I'm the second oldest of 8. So there's 8 of us. And well, 8 kids. And and so like I saw like the progress of like everything. Like the way like because my parents developed through my life. And my dad was like, well, you were spanked from day one until like I would say probably about like you said, about like 8 or 9, about that. But and the only way like I got spanked when I was like older, like 8 or 9, is if I did something absolutely horrible. Like horrible. Like I just randomly beat somebody up and my dad would just beat my ass. It's like, why the fuck you being a bully?
Curiously, that didn't stop you from being a bully when you grew up.
Just maybe tougher.
Better bully. Like,
you hit me now. Come on, let's go.
my dad beat the crap out of me. You think you can spank me harder?
Come on. But yeah, and then like I mean, this whole velocity was over. It's like it says it's all throughout scripture. It's like I'll only go back to scripture and what everything said. And I was just like, and it worked. It worked. It definitely worked. I became really stupid once I got older, but then I got older and then became less stupider.
Yeah, well, my dad also spanked me, but like the difference was that my dad himself, he was kind of like a very ambiguous figure in the sense that he was very good at creating speeches about himself, like where he was like the good guy about stuff, like he was never wrong about anything. And he himself led a, I wouldn't say shady life, but the way he made money was shady. The way that his own morals, because he was like super, let's say, progressive in his outlook, perhaps not so much in his politics, because he didn't want to pay taxes, but he avoided
Join the club.
like he evaded taxes anyway. So like so but like uh stuff like his tax evasion stuff like his counter, like he used to do, I don't mean to speak ill about my father, God forgive me, but like he did stuff that was like he wasn't bad with other people, I guess, or but like he did some questionable, like shady business practices, and like um he himself was very not very I want to say not a very good role model. So the fact that he spanked me like made me distrust, I already distrusted, let's say, him as a person, but the spanking made it even worse, because it was like a couple of times like he spanked me that I felt like were legitimately unjust, and in that sense that created resentment in me for him, to the point that I'm sorry, if this comes to haunt me in the future, when I grew up, my father tried to lay his hand on me and I decked him like a couple of times. Like he tried to, like one time, like he was being like verbally abusive towards me, and then like I replied back, and then when he tried to hit me, I hit him first so hard that like it shook the relationship literally. Like it shook the relationship literally. And another time, like my mother was trying to punch me. Like my mother had like a big ring, and she was like, she literally tried to punch me like with a ring like that would have dented my face for real. And I was like avoiding. I was like trying to duck because I wasn't gonna hit my own mom, right? And
Yeah.
like when I saw that my dad was like raising his hand to like hit me, but it wasn't like I'm doing the gesture, but it was like a fist. He was gonna punch me. When I saw him do like this, I decked him faster. Like my dad, he's like a very big guy. He's like 6'4", like, and like he weighs, I don't know, 300 pounds. But like I have like a really long wingspan, and I'm like I'm tougher than I look, and like
Yeah.
I'm super fast. I'm super fast, and like so, and also, dude, this was when I was, I don't know, in my early 20s, and like my dad was in his late 40s. So it was like, dude, you know, it wasn't a fair fight, but it's not like I pummeled my dad and like beat the shit out of him in the floor, like all bloody
Yeah.
and that. It was like, dude, you don't get to hit me. It was simply like, you don't get to hit me, man.
Mhm.
But that is different because that example is more of a toxic family kind of thing than it's not the same as to discipline a child, like when there's like a moral order, like, kid, you did something awful, I'm disciplining you because I love you and because I want the best of you. This was more like revenge, like my ego is slighted, and like because
Yeah.
my parents were like super super tyrannical in their, let's say, approach to life itself, which is ironic because like they had like this very progressive, like tolerant speech about anything, but fundamentally they were tyrants who, in fact, I was going to make a video today about like how pride operates, because I learned how pride operates from watching my parents very closely, which is like pride is always like biting more than you can chew. That's pride. And the thing is, it uses other people to try to chew stuff for you. So it's like I take this space for myself, and then I try to defend it to the point it's like you're like taking power from the other people without the other people, let's say, being able to defend themselves from that. And like it's literally untenable, so it leads to problems down the line. Because it's like, imagine I was a tyrant in our friendship. Like, say that we were to go out, and like I started doing shit that was like, dude, you're overstepping your boundaries. Like, you would have to check me. You would have to like, and you don't want to have that kind of relationship with other people. You want to have a relationship of harmony, of understanding, of uh of knowing where the boundaries are. But since my parents themselves, they didn't have like that growing up themselves. So like they had a way of relating with other people that, let's say, try to copy like good boundaries, but ended up like creating like stuff that was super weird, because they themselves didn't have like a good theology. Let's say they didn't have like a good way of like prioritizing relationships in a proper hierarchy. They didn't have a way of like even noticing when they themselves were like overstepping the boundaries, or to correct me when I was overstepping the boundaries, which is the purpose of like discipline in the first place. Like when you're trying to discipline a child, basically you're trying to like make them learn the boundaries of what's acceptable or not. And the problem was that the way that a proud person, let's say, sets boundaries is always changing and malleable, because
Mhm.
like they're always taking more space. So it's like you give them an inch, and then they move an inch further and an inch further and an inch further, and in the end you're like, dude,
The saying
let me
out
go.
here, is you take an inch, you give them an inch, they take a mile.
Yeah,
And,
yeah, yeah,
and
yeah. So yeah, go ahead.
it was funny. It was like but actually before this, yeah, it was crazy. It was like every time I was disciplined, it was always like through my father. Well, most of the time, unless my mom was like just like you son of
Feeling
and my mom's a big woman. She's 6 foot. She's
it.
and um but yeah, every time like she was, but most of the time was always like my mom would just be like, okay, she would write something down, but like, just wait until your father gets home. Like it was literally just like that. I was just like, ugh. And then like my dad would spank the crap out of me, but he would also like he would explain why. It's like, here's why I'm doing this. I'm not doing this out of anger. This is strictly discipline. He's like, this is business. He's like, you made a decision, and you gotta pay. And then like he would even go through like scripture and everything like that. Here's why. Here's why you did it wrong. He's like, now bend over and take it. Just like
yeah, and you knew that you deserved it, right?
Yeah. Every time, every discipline, yeah. And then like it was funny because like one time I saw my my dad. He actually like almost knocked out my older brother. Because like we were at the dinner table and then like she was like for some reason my older brother he was an emotional man. He's very in touch with his emotions. And they were arguing about something. My mom and my older brother like all day long. And then we're like at dinner. She's like, "That's the beans." My brother's like, "No, bitch."
What?
And my dad just like
he smacked him.
And just like straight up, just like right in. He's like, "Never call my own mother a bitch, you fucking idiot."
yeah.
Then you just sat down.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, dude, it's not fun for anyone, dude. Like to discipline someone, like nobody wants to do it. You'd be the first one to want to see your child like be thriving in life instead of being an idiot. Yeah, I completely agree with your dad here. Like, I would say that in fact, my parents in some ways were super lenient with me in some regards, because they themselves, like, they were very arbitrary in their rules. So sometimes they were super strict, sometimes they were super lax, and I wouldn't know when. And like, and it had to do more about themselves and how they like. I realized pretty late in life, I would say, like looking back on the way I was brought up, that my parents always cared about, let's say, success. They always cared about appearances. They always cared about like seeming good or virtuous or whatever. So their morals would like shift with the times, in a sense, like, or with the people they hang out with. So it's not that they didn't have a backbone or anything, or they didn't have beliefs, but it was more like, it's super sad because the way I picture it, it was like my parents, I feel like they have a very intense but shallow relationship among each other, like among themselves, because like with each other, because like they're always trying to look like better than they are. And the only fights that I've seen them have were like when the other person was sort of like shattering the illusions that each other was trying to create. So it was like super like narcissistic stuff, like in the sense of like one party trying to, let's say, impose their fantasy, their interpretation of reality on the other person, so that they could seem like magnanimous and like in general, I don't judge my parents too harshly. I just think I don't like them as people. I don't appreciate them. It's like I wouldn't choose them. It's I wouldn't choose them. But I perhaps they wouldn't choose me. Like they made that clear as well. I think at least my
Well,
dad.
they didn't. They didn't. They didn't choose you.
Yeah, they didn't choose me. Like they told me, my dad told me that I was always a nuisance. That since the moment I was born, I was a nuisance. So, and
Yeah,
that speaks more.
I was the
Yeah,
same way. I was the same way. It's like just growing up, like I always it's just like hot wired crazy. And then until like they were like, all right, we gotta put you in sports. We can't handle you anymore. So I went to sports. And that became my life. I was just like
yeah, but dude, like that means like your parents. You can tell that your dad cares about you. You can tell about like those kinds of things. You can tell my dad competed with me. Like my dad like literally competed with me with a child, you know, and it's different. Uh, and it wasn't like you were probably perhaps naughty, but it's one thing to be naughty and another thing is to be like rejected if you're not exactly what other people want you to be, which is kind of like you know. I hope don't pass down to my own children eventually the like the generational curses, the passions, the problems that come with that.
well, that's liberalism. That's
Yeah.
just that's called generational trauma. I don't believe in generational trauma. I mean, you can cut off whatever you want to cut off because I mean, like, even if like I'll just won't go into detail, but I mean, like, my dad's father was a drunk, a professional drunk, and then there's a lot of stories I've heard from my dad and my uncles about their grandfather that were horrible. Then all the sons turned completely different from him.
Mm.
They were just like, never. So
Yeah.
I don't
No,
think
no. I mean, well, at least from the Orthodox perspective, let's say of ancestral sin, like sins are not a personal thing; they're a cultural phenomenon. Like so in that sense, like the other day that we were talking about like original sin and like the Orthodox difference is that we believe that sin is not merely personal, so we cannot be individualist, but rather like sin is like corruption. You can think about it, you know, like in some like the rot, you know, it's kind of like an amorphous, like shapeless thing that is trucking along, like it's like a disease, like a cancer in a society, right? And it has different expressions, and like sins are related to each other. So for example, like I was today, like I was having like super lustful thoughts because I was judging like in my mind I was judging these um these prostitutes, like these skanks that I saw on the streets, like I was mentally judging them. So yeah, I have a friend who's asking me if I'm okay.
so. You were lustfully judging them.
So I was lustfully
That was a joke. That was a joke.
yeah, no, I don't think I was. I don't think I was because perhaps I was. Maybe, but like Jimbo was showing on his like a very butch lesbian, and I had to turn off the stream because I was having like a fantasy of raping her violently. I was like, no, no, dude, and she was ugly as hell as well. So, so man, I'm not a saint. I'm not a saint. I'm just
Yeah.
telling you I'm struggling with my passions. I'm
Oh,
struggling with my passions.
dude, I can't tell you enough of just like what I struggle with every day, dude. It's horrible. Like I'll just be like going down to like get the gas, go to the gas station, and then like I don't know, like you know you like lock eyes with somebody, you're just like and you're just like oh, and then you're just
I'm
like
gonna.
you're like no, stay faithful. You're just like
Are you completely 100% sold on your girlfriend? Nah, we need to stop the stream and perhaps we have
anything.
to.
Well, the good thing is that everything I will tell you is everything I've already said to her, so it doesn't matter. But I would say I am. I am. She's an amazing person. She's an amazing person. Like she's a painter, she's a ballerina, she's a school teacher. She loves children. And then like there's stuff we can refine. But yeah, overall.
Yeah, I was
Oh, go ahead.
I was telling my friend that I mentioned the girl that's intelligent and this and that because I was telling him, dude, you still struggle with self abuse, man. Like you're nobody to judge this girl for being self willing. Like if you can go a year without like touching yourself, then I can believe you are better than this girl. But until you master that baiting, uh, you
Oh,
will, yeah, until you can refrain from like from abusing yourself, then you're you're not better, and you shouldn't think yourself better than her, and you should be picking a partner to struggle together towards salvation. And I think we tend to judge women as if they were men, and we don't realize that women are fundamentally a different thing. Very different.
have fun
It's like,
understanding.
yeah, no, no, no. Of course, that's the point. You can never know, and
Yeah.
I'm not trying to like mystify them or create them like or
No,
to
no, I
or
get
to
it. I get it. It's just like they'll like say something, you're just like, oh, what?
even-
Or they'll do something and it's just like, and then it just makes sense in the end or whatever. And you're just
yeah.
like you're an interesting creature.
Yeah, I tend to think of them like cats. Is like I tend to think of them like cats. Like the way to approach with cats is like you have to constrain them without them thinking you're constraining them. So it's like you give them like a big enough playground for them to express themselves, but it's like no, no, no. These are the confines. These are the and if you want to break from the confines, then this doesn't work. So
Yeah.
and it's like because they get sometimes a little bit crazy with their ideas, so there have to be limits. And it's not like with children it's a different ball game, but like women need to have like the breathing space. You cannot like just like put them
Well,
against the wall. Like
you
you
can't
need
spank a
to
woman. Well, I mean, you can, but I mean, it's just like you're just gonna be like, listen here.
No, yeah, no, it's super different, but like they need to feel like they have room to breathe, but at the same time they really don't. They really can't deal with freedom like completely because like they go crazy.
They
Like,
go stir. They go stir fry. They go. They just everything's just like,
yeah,
what's going on? You're just like, hey,
yeah, yeah,
here's north. Here's north. It's right there.
yeah,
Oh, okay, okay. Just like
yeah. They need they,
but
and I understand also.
that's a joy of them too, as well. I will say that.
Exactly. No, no,
Um,
no. I completely agree. It's because that gives the relationship a lot of freshness and like novelty. It introduces novelty into the equation, and I think that it's
and
such a
also,
shame that. Go
also,
ahead.
if I disagreed with that, I would be gay.
Yeah, yeah. No, no, no homos here in the stream, but like for real, women think differently. They think so differently to the point that we have to admire that they do have certain gifts, which is but that thinking needs to be constrained productively because if not like it runs wild into like crazy territory and like you need to be the one to be the stable one. And I think it's a shame that in our current society like we've made women into like these little demons, like for real, they're demons now. They're literally demons because they expect everything without giving anything in return. And it's like they're gonna find I'm gonna put my money, all my money in like cat food companies, because
Mhm.
for real these girls are gonna wake up like childless and alone in like 10 years. It's gonna be like an epidemic. So and the worst part is they won't shut up, they won't recognize they were wrong. We're gonna have like a flood of 40-year-olds, 50-year-olds, like bitching constantly, constantly because they are unsatisfied with the life they built for themselves. And it will be already too late because I don't see them as wanting to repent. They're also like getting bolder, and the social fabric is disintegrating, and like our Western society does not uphold the rule of law. So I think they're gonna be like raped by immigrants, like they're gonna be stabbed and killed, like for real, and like that will be it because like they have no man to defend them, the police won't defend them. It's like and men are gonna check out en masse, or they're gonna import like Southeast Asian like wives to replace the white women in the states because they're for real like these girls are out of bounds, and they're crazy, they're literally crazy. Every day I see how Twitter like floods.
Well, don't
Yeah,
get your basis off women from Twitter.
no, also Instagram.
Well, don't get your basis off them as well. When was the last time? Okay, all right. When was the last time you went out and then like you just said hello to a woman?
I went on a date a couple like last month. Like I went on a date, like date. The girl had ADHD, and
Everybody
yeah,
has.
no, like for real, like she
Oh,
was mental. She was mental, and like
okay.
she was insane. She was legit insane, and I mean she meant well, but it's
Mhm.
like we're breeding psychotic people. Like we're like there's like a natural, let's say, level of craziness within what I would call a semi-healthy society. Now that our society is crazy, the amount of craziness and the severity has exponentially increased. So, and I don't mean to say this to bash women. I'm not a misogynist. I'm not an incel. I'm not any of those things.
You are.
But I am an
And a,
incel.
and a racist.
I'm a racist. No, I'm a
Don't forget
racist, but I'm not,
Just
but,
joking.
but I'm a volsel. I'm a voluntary celibate because, like, if it were up to me, I could have a lot of girls. Like,
I don't doubt that. I don't doubt that. I don't doubt that at all. And
yeah,
but I'm just saying, it's like just, and I don't
no,
mean this.
dude. Do you know
You
the
have,
Whatever podcast? Have you
yeah,
seen the Whatever podcast? Dude,
yeah,
those bitches, like some of them, like, they're almost 40 and they want a millionaire. It's like I'm not gonna date anyone who's not a millionaire. Like they have to have a $7 million house. And it's like you're looking at this old bitch and you're like, okay, good luck with that. Good luck with that. It's like who's gonna invest in that sinking ship? It's like you want it's like these girls, they put out for Chad thinking that they will marry Chad, but Chad just wants to pump and dump, and he will get eventually, hopefully, if Chad has one brain cell, like he will get a decent woman of his caliber, right? He's not gonna, like, Chad doesn't care about betting like a 6 or 7. Like Chad might bet a 6 or 7 because he felt like it. Why not? He has no commitment, right? Like we're
yeah,
talking about Chad, the secular guy who, like, I used to be that guy. It's like it wouldn't diminish me to bang a fatty. Like it wouldn't diminish me to be with an ago with an ugly bitch. It was like fun was the name of the game. It was like, but I knew that I didn't want to marry uh, any of those bitches. So
yeah,
these girls think that because they could have, like, because they put out and a guy they liked, like, chose them for one night or for a couple of months of regular sex, now they think that they're entitled to, like, what they imagine as their market value falls. And I don't mean to see people as like a commodity, but the reality is, it's like, what would you prefer to take as an apprentice? An 18-year-old man or a 65-year-old man as an apprentice? It's like, no, you're going to take the 18-year-old. The 65-year-old is going to bring in a lot of trouble that you don't need. He's probably not going to be, let's say, as helpful
malleable.
to you. Yeah, as malleable, as able to learn quickly. All he's not going to be as motivated. He's not going to be as mentally and physically strong. So there's a lot of there going on. And like these women, they believe in make believe, and they want to force that's why the witches thing is such a prevalent thing. It's like they think that they can force reality by their own will, and it's like, no, girl, you're gonna hit the wall so hard, so hard. And it's like, I
Yeah,
and I'm seeing the post that they're starting to make. It's like, oh, nobody told me it would be like this. No, bitch, we told you, but like you didn't want to listen. We told you. We told you. So now it's like cat food companies for me. Like that's my get out of poverty. Like like what Bitcoin? What's that?
yeah, Bitcoin, cat food, and cat litter,
Yeah. We,
and
we
cat.
need we need cat coin. Cat coin.
Yeah. That'll be our next scam, everyone. Just joking.
Yeah.
No YouTube.
For
We'll be,
real, for real, it wouldn't be a bad idea to have like a currency based on the general prices of like a cat food. Like that would be an interesting thing. It's
yeah,
like
that's crazy. Yeah.
don't listen to us because we're retarded. We're
I don't know if anybody's here.
Anyway, I wanted to let's say make the message a little bit sweeter. I'm sorry, we already lost a lot of people. We lost a lot of people in the sense of um, with the whole criticism of the female kind. But okay, instead of instead of backtracking, I'm gonna push forward and be even more severe. No,
Double down,
no,
double down.
I'm gonna double down. Yeah, no. What I mean to say is that we've infantilized society so much, man. Like it's not just a women problem, but the problem is that women for some reason get less consequences than men, and we men like we give consequences to each other like super evidently. So it's like we got more opportunities to self correct or
And
to be
harsh.
corrected by others. Yeah, because we're tougher in that sense. We can we have to take on a lot of shit. And what I see happening is that a lot of women, they don't know how to be women anymore, so they're trying to be men, but they're trying to be they end up being like supreme men. And it's like they think they can win physically, like they can stand up to a man like, what you're talking to me? And it's like I could destroy you. You're a ragdoll to me. Like I could kill you with no effort, literally no effort. It's like the moment that, and we're like policemen are starting to like have a lot of issues. Like policing is starting to become difficult because of a lot of things. And like I live in Spain. There's a lot of Muslim immigrants, and they don't care about the law. Like they're raping and stealing, and like um and they're being protected by the authorities. And I'm like, okay, the perfect storm. And I'm not bitter in the sense that I don't need them. I don't need these women. I don't need them at all. In fact, like, God bless them. I hope they repent. But what I do see is that societies that respect the family will thrive, and societies that like don't respect the family, don't respect gender roles, uh, they will fail. And it will happen to the West, and those who love the West are going to be super sad about it. But I refuse to tie myself to the fate of this West that hates Christ. Like if you hate Christ, I'm sorry. I'm not on your team. You're not part of my team. Like I'm team Christ. I'm team Christ, not team worldly power. I'm not team like the West for the West's sake. I'm not team the bagel people. I'm not team, neocons like spreading democracy all over the world. So like you can do that if you want. You're just gonna fail. You're just gonna
Yeah.
fail because like I don't think Russia is paradise, not at all. But like one thing that really shattered all my let's say illusions about the West was when the sanctions failed. Like the West literally try to like isolate Russia in the world stage, and it failed. And when it failed, it was like, okay, now the American empire isn't as strong as it thinks it is. And perhaps we're in a moment where the American empire feels like they have to like always double down, always like show strength and this and that. But it's like, okay, nobody's scared of you anymore. So what are you gonna do? Like the Chinese aren't scared of you anymore. Like they want to work with you because like all the companies are like with one foot in China, one foot in America. It's like because they make stuff in China and they sell stuff in America.
Yeah.
But if you take away the state's let's say power to consume, like the if you stay if you wreck the American economy, then you guys become irrelevant. It's like, okay, a country with a big population and natural resources, that's great. But Brazil is a country like that. India has a huge population and is trying to like climb its way to the top. It's like, what are we talking about? It's like, imagine having India like displacing you. Like
Well,
that
yeah,
would be a shame.
yeah, and then like it everything died. Like I think it was like after probably the 1950s, everything died. Otherwise, America was like the most industrial place ever, and it actually produced everything. Like during the 20s, during the 30s, during the 40s, during the early, like even 1900s, like it was a powerhouse. Now, like I would say, like after the 60s is when everyone got all hippy dippy and just all gay.
Could be. I don't know that much about like U.S. history, but I imagine that that was the time where like a lot of manufacturing went abroad. Like a lot of like the big industries went abroad because like, and I understand where it happens as well. It's like Americans want to be paid in American wages, you know, because they want. But the thing is, if you that's something that you have to solve like culturally. That's not an economic issue. But why
Yeah.
am I saying that? Because you're not going to be able to outcompete slave labor. It's like, oh, you wanna outcompete China like on the level of like industry. It's like Chinese people work for a bowl of rice if the government tells them to. It's like you're not gonna be able to find cheaper like workers. So what are we talking about? Like what you have to do, and I'm not a big Trump guy, but like what you have to do is put on tariffs. Why? Because like if the Chinese want to have slaves, they have millions. They could have millions of slaves. They could like
Oh, they
outproduce you if
already
they
do.
want. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But I mean like Chinese people now are very competitive. They're not as communistic in terms of like the way they run stuff anymore. But like if they really did want to enslave their population, they could, and you can do nothing about it. So the goods they produce would be way cheaper. So why are we talking about like the free market, no, no, dude, you the market exists because the government allows it to exist. So if you want to like have economic prosperity, you cannot treat your own people like crap. You can pay them like it would be okay if you pay them, let's say, a little bit worse, but you cannot like pay them shit and then mistreat them and like also like denigrate them as if they were like goblins. It's like, no, no,
Yeah.
no, they're your countrymen. They're your countrymen. They should be like the backbone. They should be the backbone of your nation. And instead of that, like both the Republicans and the Democrats like decided to go for the let's say for the Wall Street uh you know interests, and they all led to like deindustrialization. It was like, oh no, I have a company, I like to outsource stuff, and I use Americans only for the stuff that I can't avoid to do. It's like, okay, that's a recipe for destroying your productive capabilities. It's like it was promised. It was totally promised, and now they even want to raise taxes. It's ridiculous. It's like you're trying to kill a dying. It's like the patient is on the ICU, and it's like, oh, maybe we can take a gallon of blood out of them like that we could use that kidney, you know. It's like, what are you talking about? You're gonna kill the nation this way. And I'm so sad. I'm so sad that this is happening all over the West. It's like our political leadership sucks, man.
Yeah. No, it
So
really
I'm
does.
just, no, go ahead.
No, I was just saying it really does suck. It's wild. I can't believe where it's gone right now. I'm just like,
Yeah,
okay. I guess I'm along for the
That's why
ride.
I want to stick with the Orthodox because at least I know what they're doing. It's not just the theology; it's also the community. It's also like it's the true faith. It's definitely the true faith. But you know what? When you know that you need God and that God is responding, it makes it so much easier to do the hard stuff. Because like if you look at it from a let's say worldly perspective, like we can get people to become Christians by telling them that Christ will make everything better. But the reality is that he won't. Christ will not like fix your life. Like you're going to be called to crucifixion. Like so how do you it's impossible to sell that to a secularist. It's like, "Oh, so your God is the God of losers."
So you're gonna believe in a God, and then you're still gonna face damnation.
Yeah, so but it's only worldly stuff. Like
It is.
fortunately it will be over in a blink of an eye, I think. To me, well, at least my life, like it accelerated so fast. Like the last few years they went by so fast. And
Yeah, like it's been like within the past probably like 4 years. I've just been like, really? I was like, people were like, hey, remember like 4 years ago we did this? I was like, that was 4 years ago?
hmm,
Well,
yeah, yeah.
I guess it
And
was.
yeah, and the people are so retarded. So I'm not like I'm not trying to judge them, but for real, like what I think should happen is that we should stop like using like the chronically online stuff. I don't think it's helpful. I think that like I like having conversations. I like creating content and such. But man, like analog life is so good. Like parish life is so good. Liturgy is so good. Um, you know, hanging out with friends is so good. Um, like I think we have forgotten, like we're so intoxicated. It's like we have the hangover of like decadence, and we've forgotten how good it was to simply enjoy the small things of life. And we hear like the constant screeching of people who are unhappy about life, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna turn down the volume on these people. It's like especially when they're young and entitled, like shitheads. It's like, I know because this and that. It's like an 18-year-old feminist. It's like, shut up already, shut up, cunt. Like a like a healthy society would be like, shut up, cunt, and that's it, and that would be the end of that conversation. It's like,
Just get out before you can't.
yeah, yeah, because like what I treasure about the Orthodox is that like we do protect our spaces, and it's like we make no bones about like who we are, what we believe. It's not perfect. It's not perfect. It's really not perfect, but it's such a breath of fresh air, man. It's like when you go talk to them, it's like, oh yeah, somebody else that gets it. It's like the ratio of based people to normies is like overwhelmingly positive. It's like we've got like people who are really, really like seeing it. And of course nobody's perfect, but at least you're among fellow human beings and not goblins. So it's like, yeah, not Coomer goblins. It's not like Destiny. You're not hanging out with Destiny and his friends.
Yeah. Oh
So
gosh, that would be horrible. Because I mean, like to be honest, like I listen to Destiny if like there's nobody on. I'll listen to him because I'm like, at least for me, I'm just like I'm at least knowing what you guys are doing. Like, I at least know this. And there's a couple of the people like I would listen to, like, but on the lefty side, on the super lefty side, all that stuff. But I'm just like, I just want to know, like, especially like when very political things become extremely relevant. Like I would listen to something about somebody who I agree with, listen to them, and then just go right back to like Destiny or whoever's like on the left, like Abba and Preach, all that stuff, and just like other like libertarian people. And just be like, okay, but they're always pretty stupid.
Yeah, yeah. It's Coomer stuff all around, man. Like I'm amazed at how well like these WEF people have managed to stranglehold like people into becoming Coomers. Like the people are cooming so hard right now. It's like even their economic lives are trashed. It's like I cannot wake up my high school friends. The fact that their parents by by the time by the like my friends from high school, they're all 30. It's like,
Mhm.
dude, your dad was doing way much better than you at your age. It was like you're doing like as if your dad was like 22. You're like 8 years you're lagging 8 years behind, and you're never going to catch up. You're not gonna catch up. Like that's it. It's like they've stolen from you something that you'll never get back. You'll never get it back. And these people, like, they cannot see it. They refuse to see it, and it's like, no, no, no. Let me go back to my Star Wars and my Coomer stuff. It's like,
Oh, Star
dude,
Wars. Just
it's an example. I don't know. Like my friends, they're not into Star Wars, but like like
no, like
they're into
all like, everyone that I know is just like people are like, oh, this is Star Wars, and we're like, are you gay? Like,
like
why are we talking about Star Wars? It's just
yeah. If you were 16, I'd understand. Like,
yeah,
but
yeah.
you're 30, man. Like you should be thinking about like wife, children, like like owning property, like business. Uh, instead, like what we see is people like watching anime. We have people like, dude, and it's so bad. By the way, it's like Netflix, nothing to offer. Like Netflix, Prime Video, all that shit. It's garbage. It's all garbage.
I don't even have
And
subscriptions to any of them. I dropped those like probably about 4 or 5 years ago. Like I was just like, all right, Hulu gone, Netflix gone, uh, every other streaming service except YouTube, I'll pay for.
mm,
I was like, okay, and Louder with Crowder.
mm.
But
What did you think of the latter of the Crowder stuff with his wife?
we're never gonna know. That's all we're gonna know. It sucked. It's bad. It looks bad. Yes, get it. But that's all we're gonna know. And all we can do is make up some assumptions.
Hmm.
But I get it. It's bad and all of that stuff. It looks bad. Or I mean, he didn't touch her. They were just upset. But I was like, everyone fights. Have you ever been in a nasty fight with a girlfriend? It's just like,
Yeah,
yeah. It's just like,
yeah, yeah. No, no, dude, it's that shit. Sometimes I'm so happy I'm single, man. Sometimes I like I think I look at my life and I say, dude, I'm living my best life. It's like I have to answer to no one. Like Like I can enjoy a tea and like not look at the phone, not look at anything, and it's like having my tea. Nobody can bother me. It's like I like, dude, to have that. I was thinking the other day. I don't know if I, I didn't talk it. I didn't talk about it with you guys, but like I was thinking, like there's a girl from my parish that I like, but I was thinking, what if I don't ask her out? What if I don't ask her out? It's like it would be fantastic. Like I like my life, and I think she likes me, but I was like, I don't have the time right now. Like if I want, that's a lie. That's always a lie. You always have time. Like unless you're chained to unless you're in prison, when and that's all you have, time. Like you always have time because
Yeah.
you make the time basically. If you want something, you make the time. But I was like, no, dude, and I would have to stop doing all these things that I love just to like what? To string someone along who will in the end be disappointed because well, what you have to offer them is not what they picture in their dreams. And it's like, yeah, but why should I be the nasty parent to tell them, bitch, your fantasy is never going to come true? Like your fantasy life, first of all, it's not my job to provide it, and second of all, like you should have outgrown that shit when you were 18. It's like, but we live in a society that depends on people selling the, oh, you can have like the career of your dreams, you can have the family of your dreams, you can have like the house of your dreams. And I'm like, dude, is anyone achieving that? Because I even see like like Hollywood celebrities, like who earn shitloads of money for nothing because they do
Uh,
nothing, and they have money and free time, and they still wreck their lives. They wreck their lives so hard, like they suffer and they suffer a lot. And I'm like, dude, nobody in this life is getting all their shit, all their shitty fantasies fulfilled. Like, why would you expect that? And no parent is teaching that to their children. It's like, I'm gonna pacify you. I'm gonna give you like the iPad so you can stop pestering me. It's like, dude, no. Just tell your child, stop fantasizing about life. Like he needs to rock. That's why I asked Mr. Westford on one stream,
my dad.
like
Go ahead. Go.
what?
Go. Go.
No,
Go. Go.
I asked Mr. Westford like, what do you think if your dad like had like spanked you but for no reason, like periodically? It was like it was a random amount of time. It could be, I don't know, a week, it could be a month, it could be 3 months, but like you were spanked for no reason. Was like just to remind you of the possibility, like you could be spanked at any time. It was like, I was joking, obviously I wasn't being serious, but like think about how good it would be for kids nowadays for something like that to happen. It was like, no, dude, you probably deserved it. You did something wrong. It's like, and that's like, and it would probably be better than what's going to happen to them. Like I feel like a lot of people like will start to off themselves. A lot of people will start to
There's
like,
a lot of people who want to do that. This was actually a bad thing I did once. Okay, but it actually turned out the way I wanted it to. So this was like a long time ago. We had a bunch of buddies, super drunk. We drank like a lot. We were drinking bottles and bottles and bottles of liquor. And then one of my buddies was all like, he just started crying. Like, dude, what are you fucking crying for? We're all laughing at him. Like, what are you crying for? He's like, I think I want to kill myself tonight. I think I want to end myself tonight. And then like I walked into my room and I pulled out my Glock. Then like I racked it. I was like, here you go. I was like, get it over with. And then he dropped the gun and started crying. What am I thinking? And then like after that, like it was just like a wake up point for him. He's doing very, very well right now. I was just like, and I don't know
Dude,
why.
that was
I was just like, here, just get it over with. I was like, nobody cares, dude. It's like that's a very selfish thing for you to do. If that's what you want to do, go ahead and do it. Like nobody cares. He was just, ooh. So, like,
dude.
you see why you're being so fucking dumb, bro? You're being fucking dumb. This is the stupidest fucking thing. Can't believe. Like I'll do it myself if I need to do it. I'm like, God damn it, dude.
Oh, you're not gonna kill yourself?
You're a loser. Loser. And then like
Yeah.
I don't know, like that just like completely like sparked something within his brain. Like he was just like that was like, and we were completely all drunk. And we were like, even like we woke up like 15 hours later. We were like, that was really dumb.
Did you guys mess with him afterwards? Like, remember the time when
Yeah.
when
No, it's the same. No. Like every time we do Sam, like he's like, oh, today's been a fucking horrible fucking day, bro. Like, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do, man? Are you gonna get us up? Shut the fuck up. Shut up, bro. It's just
Dude, I'm gonna make myself some tea. Sorry to leave you hanging with the stream, but like,
you're good. I'll show something. I'll show something. I got something to show. Make a little ding-a-ling. This is like, these are athletes at their best. And you actually have to see this, Ivan, because these are athletes at their best. Where'd it go?
where's the thing? Can't see now.
All right, here it is. You ready, my friend?
Yeah, give me a second. Yeah.
Can you hear it?
No.
Okay, that's good. Probably because there's a copywritten song behind it.
Can't hear it though. She's cute.
Indeed. I mean, I would still marry her even if she is in a wheelchair.
Well, depending on her personality.
That's true. Well, she's got to be humble. She's in a wheelchair, so
Yeah. Well, no.
You're
She could be a
you're
bitch.
no, but you got to be used to being pushed around.
Yeah, but the good thing is that if she's in a wheelchair and she's a bitch, you can just take her phone and just like drop her in a corner and like, that's it. You don't have to hear from her for a couple of hours.
I would like keep a wrench in my pocket and just like take off one
And
wheel.
you just, like, you
Just start acting up. You just like you pull the wrench out of your back pocket. You're like, Christina, fine, you win.
Yeah, no, we're not being serious, Paul. This is just joking.
Well, you're not
We will
joking.
never do that.
I would never do that because I date women that can walk on their legs.
No.
And
I
that's
think-
not. I don't mean to be. What is it? Ableist, but
Yeah.
I prefer my women to walk on legs.
Yeah. Yeah, but she was surprisingly beautiful, I'd say, like for a cripple.
Very handy. Yeah.
Dude.
Have you ever heard of rascal tipping?
No, what's that?
Like, have you ever seen South Park, the um,
Yeah,
the TV show?
yeah.
Okay. And you've never heard of rascal tipping?
No.
Okay. Let me show you what is rascal tipping. And I've done this before. And then you can make fun of me and you can tell me how bad of a person I am.
Did you do stuff with cripples? Like, did you mess with cripples?
No?
No, no. Was it with retards or like
Well, I guess you can say like self-crippled.
self crippled?
Yeah.
Mhm.
All right. Here we go. Here we go. Present YouTube. And what do I have to do to why is there like no sound going on with this stuff?
No idea.
Is there a setting that I don't have on or off? Like can you hear
Hit play.
all right.
Are expressing their outrage by engaging in the act
Can you hear that?
Yes.
Okay.
of rascal tipping. Stop it, you kids! Stop! The government warns that rascal tipping can be dangerous and may.
Yeah. Did you do it?
Yes.
Was it a person you knew, or was it like a random person on the
It was
on the
just
street or
it was a random person in Walmart.
oof, oof, oof. How old were you?
Probably like 11.
11. That's impressive, man. No, dude, I would
But
have been like mad if it was like you were 18 and you were still doing that shit. At 11, I'm actually like impressed that you were able to do it. Like it's like people are heavy.
well, it was a group of us. It was a whole group of us.
Dude, was it one of those that like make you feel sorry for them, or was it like
No, it was just because like there's a thing that we do. It's like cow tipping. Have you ever heard of cow tipping?
yeah, of course, but I don't know how real that is because cows are pretty big, you know?
Oh, I've done that plenty of times.
Yeah, it's easy. Is it easy to do?
No, it's not easy. You gotta push over a whole cow. And then hope it doesn't fall on you because like we had one friend where actually the cow fell on top of him. It was like he rocked it, and then the cow rocked back on top of him.
Oof. Dude,
And then the cow woke up and like just like freaked out. And we were like, "Get out of there, Steven! Get out!"
dude. Man, thank you for that because I didn't know
Welcome
that
to
cows.
growing up in America. Welcome to growing up in America.
Thank you, thank you.
That's what we did back in the good old days. And then even like what was funny, what I was gonna say about like if my parents got like annoyed with me that I was doing something, you know, my dad's number one go-to thing was just like, here's a shovel, dig a hole. Just
That's
like
it. That's it.
like how deep and like what do you want? You're like just dig until I tell you to stop. Yeah, I would just like he would just like walk back inside. I would just be sitting out there just digging a hole. Then he'll like come out like 30, 40 minutes later. You tired? Yeah. It's like, all right, come back inside.
I would have been like, dude, this hole, like, it's too shallow. I'll go back in until it has like a couple of, like, and then I'd leave you like for 2 hours, like just digging and check
The
up
deep,
on you.
yeah, like the deepest hole I've ever dug was like probably close to like 7 feet. Like just digging,
Nice.
just digging.
And how wide?
It was probably about like I would say about 4 to 5 feet wide, like a 4 to 5 feet square.
Yeah.
Because my dad was always like, he would give us a dimension sometimes. Like it must be just, it has to be the size of a foxhole. Because my dad was ex-military.
Mm.
My dad went through some crazy shit in the military.
Yeah,
He
he
was
told me.
He was like, okay, 5 foot by 5 foot, and just dig down and make sure it's all the way as far as you can go. It's 5 foot by 5 foot. Like here's a measuring tape, and here's a shovel. Go.
And how do you dig a hole that's deep, not very wide? Because like I imagine that you have to like get in the
You have a like
right.
a bucket and a ladder,
Mm. Uh-huh.
and that was the thing too, because like we can't like shovel it out long enough. We can't shovel out any more dirt, Dad.
Yeah.
He was like, oh, so that's gonna stop you? It's like, don't we have
Yeah.
ladders? Don't we have buckets?
Mm. Yeah. I completely get it. It's well thought out. Your father was prepared.
You're just like, fuck. Yes. Oh. Well, I don't know what you're complaining about. I want to go watch a football game. Just like- And then, like, once my brother and my younger brother and I, we used to play baseball and football on the same team in high school. So we're like, and my dad ended up being the assistant coach on the team. And it was my dad never. There's not a single game in my sports career that my dad was never at. It didn't matter where it was.
Mm-hmm. We went to all.
My dad was a wild guy, dude. He would get like super mad at me, like because like I remember in football, like my brother was a right guard and I was a right tight end. And if you don't really know like where that's places like two guys are like feet to feet right here. I'm the receiver and he's a guard. All his job is to beat people up. That's his whole job.
Mm-hmm.
My job is to go and receive the ball or be a blocker as well. My brother and I were just super close the whole time throughout high school, just on the same team and everything like that. And then I had this one guy. He was a small little guy. Like he was probably like 4'3", like maybe like 90 pounds. And he was the guy like right in front of me. And I was 6'3", 250 pounds. Just like, and then like I would just block him, just hold him off. And then my dad was like, "Stop being a fucking girl. Beat him to the dirt." Really?
Like I'm gonna kill him, Dad.
he had his headphones on because like the way like the coaches communicate like through like radio headphones. He put his headphones down, came up to me, like grabbed me. He's like, "I want to see that kid bleed."
I want to see that kid bleed.
So like I knocked him out, and then he ended up having to like leave by the ambulance. My dad's like, if you're like after the game, he like told me, he's like, if you're gonna get on this field and you want to play, you're gonna get hit the way everyone gets hits. There's no discrimination here. That's what you do here.
Dude,
Like,
Yeah.
all right.
they shouldn't have let that kid play, man. They shouldn't have let that kid play. It was like,
They
That was
they
a
were like
dude.
they were this really, really, really small team. Like they only had enough players to actually play in the game. They didn't have any extra players.
Yeah, I know.
And
I know that
we were
shit.
just like, you guys suck, and like we beat them. Like we had to mercy rule them. Like it was bad. We just like walked all over them. We're just like, okay.
Yeah, no, dude. I know how that's. I know how that happens because I was part of a very small school when I was like in primary school, and like it was like seven of us. Like we were seven boys. It was like we could play volleyball, or we could play like and when I changed schools, like I started playing rugby, and the new school had more way more kids. So like we could play like against better schools, right? And one time, like we got to play with my ex school, and I told the coach, like, let me be the captain, like, and like first like in rugby we do a kickoff, like the kick, and it's kind of like a big deal because like it's super hard. I don't know if you know anything about rugby, but like to
I know a
catch,
little bit about rugby.
imagine instead of receiving, which is something that like rugby doesn't do because we don't pass the ball forward, like unless it's a very strange thing to be able to receive something because the ball has to be kicked, and it's not usual that we get to receive a kicked ball because like for us to be able to receive a kicked ball, you have to start running from behind the kicker. So you have to be standing behind the kicker. By the time he kicks, the ball goes, and you have to run and catch the ball, right? And so the kicker usually kicks it up to give people enough time. So when you're receiving, it's not like you're turning back and receiving it like a straight ball. You're receiving a ball that's falling at an angle, right? So
Yeah.
first, and rugby has different rules for tackling and such. So like the tackle has to be lower and this and that, and the receiver, they can do what's called a handoff, which is basically like you can like use your hand to swat out the guy that's coming. Like you can technically like do it with as much strength as you can, but like generally speaking, when it's kids playing, like they tell you like no hands off on the face because we don't use protective gears because
Yeah,
like
that's what we call like the stiff arm. The stiff arm is what like we would call that. Just like you just like as long as you're holding the guy away from you, you can do that with an open hand. Just like
yeah, the thing is it's very difficult to tell a handoff from a punch. So like coaches don't let you like do hands off on the face because it's like they're not going to allow you to punch another kid just straight up because you can use that. It's like I hate that guy. Like get the ball in that situation and like I'm gonna beat him up.
there's
And
still
like
sportsmanship you must contain.
yeah, so like first like the first play was like me catching the ball, which was like impossible to catch, and one of my former classmates coming to tackle me, and I just like hand off his face, and he had braces, and like
Oh,
and like his whole face was like full of blood. It's like, and I was like, oh dude, sorry. And I was like, yeah. We're gonna wreck him. We're gonna wreck him. And afterwards, like we destroyed them. Like we super like destroy them to the ground. And I was like, yeah. What are you gonna do, bitch?
Yeah. Where's your girlfriend? Oh wait, hello. Have you ever like watched much of like a American football?
No, I thought it was like super difficult for me to like. I watched a couple of games and I was like, it felt like things I can say in favor of. It felt like super strategic, but at the
Oh, it's
same time,
very
it was like, but at the same time, it was like, okay, you gain 1 yard, you lost. Like you gain 5 yards, you lost 5 yards, you lost 10 yards. It was like it's very like push and pull, and
yeah.
there's not much. I think my favorite of those kinds of sports is seven asides rugby because it's instead of like having like 15 people on each team, which I think is too many players, and you have like seven people, and it's more if you ever see a seven aside like match, it's like you see people who have like the best combination of athleticism in terms of like strength, speed, and also like ability to like and skill. So I think seven asides is like the best iteration of rugby, and
I
but
played
it's not the
7-man
main.
football. I played 7-man football before. Like in high school, like
Yeah,
our team was kind of small and we only had like 7 men on the line. So it was only 14 people instead of
mhm.
11. And it's interesting. It's way harder.
I think yeah, I think those kinds of games like are better. What I like about seven aside rugby is that it's more about like not letting the other go through. It's more like being smart when you're attacking and like looking for the in, and when you're defending it's more of like I'm not going to let this guy get away. So it reminds me a little bit more of boxing. I also like boxing quite a bit, um, and like boxing is more like dancing because like
Yeah.
it's like you're looking at the other person, and a single twitch is going to telegraph his whole move. So it's like you're responding to a twitch that only you can see because nobody outside can see it. It's like
Mhm.
when you're in front of the other person, it's like you're dodging a move that was telegraphed because of a single twitch, right? So it's got to do with like your interpretation is like you reading the other opponent, and it's like getting him pissed, so you create an opening. Like so I was like naturally good at boxing because like I have very long arms, and like I'm very fast, and like it's very difficult, like because like there are two kinds of boxers fundamentally: those who fight inside and those who fight outside. And I think that those who fight inside tend to be more powerful, but the ones that fight outside tend to be more methodical. And I had a little bit of, in the sense that I could be like super methodical, but I could also like fight inside. And like that made me like, for example, I did a chess boxing tournament at home with a couple of my buddies. And I don't know if you've ever seen chess boxing, but it's like
I
one
don't think
round of
so.
chess, one round of box, and it's like it's with a timer, and it's like it's super fun. Because you get up to you get up to the board after beating the shit out of each other, and like you're all shook up from the adrenaline. It's like you're like, and you have to move the pieces, like, and you have to think straight, and it's fantastic. I think it's a fantastic
That
sport.
sounds fun. I've
Yeah.
never boxed before. I do jujitsu, but I've never boxed or anything like
you
that.
should you should definitely try it, man. You should definitely try it.
The
But
thing
one thing,
is like is I have bad shoulder and I can't like this arm will never have the strength back in it ever again. And that was from baseball. It'll never have the strength back. I've had 3 surgeries on it, and it's shot.
mm,
Like that's where sports gets you. Like I used to play baseball at this college, and then like my third year, and threw a ball wrong, and just tore my shoulder out.
Was it because you went in too strong, or because you wanted to hit a ball that you shouldn't have hit?
It was a throw I shouldn't have made. Because like in baseball is where like I eluded the most out of football and baseball. Baseball I was extremely good at it. And so like I played baseball my whole life. After high school, got a scholarship to play baseball at UNLV. Went there for 3 years, got injured, and like I was the catcher, so I was the guy. Like I don't know, are you familiar with baseball at all? Okay.
Yeah. I played softball when I was a kid.
Okay. Yeah, like I was the catcher,
Mhm.
and the ball was a wild pitch, fell off the bat, went behind me. The guy started from first base, steal to second base. And so I had to run back there, grab the ball, and I just like kind of just twisted my body and just used only shoulder to throw the ball. And then like my whole shoulder just like came out and just rested right here.
Oh,
It's
dude.
just like,
dude.
that was
Awful.
painful. I just fell down. I was just like, and then like luckily the umpire like knew what to do, and he just like hold still. Just like ripped it back in place. I was just like,
Dude,
oh
that's so sad. That's so sad, man. Yeah.
yeah. No.
I've never had something like that happen to me. In fact, no, the only injuries I had, like from sports, were like I broke my collarbone, like here, but this was from snowboarding, and I broke my collarbone here from rugby. But like, I think the problem is, I think I have weak collarbones because, like, in terms of like physical structure, I would say that I have like slender and long bones. I'm not tall because my spine is relatively short, but I have long legs and long arms, and like I think that I packed too much weight like into my frame, and like I fell in with a lot of like, and like falling on my shoulder like made the, like with all the weight that I had, made my bone snap from the pressure, right? And
Yeah.
now that I've broken these bones, like now they're stronger because when the bone breaks, like it gets remade a little
Yeah, the
bit stronger
calcium
than
builds
before.
out.
Yeah, but still, like, um I don't know, man. I thought I was lucky because, like, for a long time, I was one of the few people that I knew that never had broken any bones. And then in a couple of years, like, I broke my two collarbones, and I was like, shit.
Have you ever had a compound fracture?
Yeah, the collarbone here that I was pointing at. Yeah, this was a compound fracture.
I see
In
it.
fact,
Yeah, I see the scar.
it like they had to operate it on it, but
Yeah, that's what
like.
I had a you can't see it. I'll show my PTs for the camera. But there's
Yeah,
this huge scar right here.
I can't.
Oh, I was it happened when I was a catcher again too, but it was like back in high school. Like I had my plate on the on home plate, and I was waiting for the ball out to catch it and make the swipe to have the guy out. And the guy came in and slid, and his foot hit my ankle, and it just like it just like sticked out like that.
Awful shit. Awful shit, man. No, that's brutal. That's
That was horrible
brutal.
too. Luckily, like that one doesn't even
Ah,
bother. That doesn't even bother you anymore. Like it's weird. Like that's the injury that doesn't bother me at all. The only injury I have, and I have plenty of injuries from sports. I have my knees are all jacked up, my shoulder, my back is all jacked up, my neck's all jacked up. I put my body through work. But like that one, like they just screwed it back together and like, oh, you ready to go? Just,
my best friend from like childhood, he was like the typical guy who was good at every sport, like literally, like he could do any sport and he would be great at it. And like he played catcher and he wanted to be a pitcher eventually. And I don't know what position he ended up playing, but he ended up playing in a baseball league, but not like, since baseball is not a professional sport in Argentina, it was a very small league. And he was probably very good at it. I never did see him play because like we were already older, and he would play like super far from like in other states. Like I wouldn't go to another state to watch him play, but uh,
No, yeah, that's like
like
when I played college ball. That's what it was like: state, 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 state.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
and like mm, I remember, like I'm relaying this because this was the guy that made me like play softball when I played softball, like who got me into rugby when I started playing rugby and such. Like he did like everything. He did like martial arts. He did like, and now I think he's like a personal trainer. He works like he still loves working with his body and such. And I have like a tremendous admiration for people who can like work themselves super hard physically speaking. Now, like the most I do is go to the gym. Sometimes I go 4 times a week, sometimes I go three, but it's like that's it for me. Like I'm not like you're not gonna get more from me. I don't have the time. I don't have the will like to devote more of my time to that. Like between my daily prayers and like my spiritual life and trying to improve and like grow in the faith and like get ahead in life, it's like sports have unfortunately taken a very, like I don't even have, like I used to like video games when I was younger. I don't even play anymore. It's like um okay, it's part of growing up, right? But at the same time, it's like dude, I don't do the shit that I used to do. Like I hardly read anymore. Like there's a lot of things that I'm not doing, and not because like I wouldn't like to. It's just like s- work stuff, health stuff, like going to the gym and working and cooking for myself, buying my own shit, like doing my laundry, doing life stuff, like helping out with a parish, like all of that, like all my time is basically like gone. Like streaming like this is basically the only like respite I have, and even that sometimes I have to treat it more like a job sometimes when I have to like create content or something like that. And like it's funny because like I optimize my life. Like if I'm going to, I no longer like if I'm going to eat something, if I like I'm cooking and I'm like listening to a podcast, right? Or I'm listening to, so I'm keeping up to date with stuff, but it's not that like I don't do it like with my free time. It's like already like my meals and like preps and like doing like housework, and that's all I need to be up to date because I watch things at twice the speed. Of course, sometimes I miss stuff, but it's like um, that's it. That's it. I feel like if you might not like it, but this is what peak performance looks like, you know.
Yeah, I get it. Like, and I know this is like been a horrible thing I have, like what I do, especially like after sports. This happened to be after sports. Like I would be like extremely religious for the gym for like a year, or like a year or two, and then just slack off for like 5 months or 6 months,
Well,
and then just go back into it. I'm just like it gets tiring. I don't have that drive to be like. I remember having like 5 hour, 6 hour gym sessions, like at the gym all the
dude,
time.
that's not productive, man. Like that's for real not productive. Like
Well,
it's good for
we were
your
on
mind.
we were on steroids at the time.
Yeah, I can imagine. I can imagine. But like
Yeah,
still. It's like, dude,
But it
I
was that
train.
jock life. It was like that jock life. It was that jock life back then. Like you were in sports, you have nothing better to do but either be in class or in the gym or on the practice field,
Yeah,
or you're with some woman. Then
yeah, no, no,
like
for real, I
that,
understand.
like that's it. That's all you have.
No, of course I understand. I used to live lives like that, but I was more into, I don't know, like clubbing. I was more into, like, for example, like the first time that I got really jacked in terms of physically, I was 21. Like I was tired of being like so scrawny, because even though I played rugby, like, and I had some physical strength, I wasn't like super jacked. Um, I said, dude, if I get jacked, like, my, like I'm getting late, so much, and like it would be like 10 times more. It's like, and it truly was. It truly was. It was like, dude, it was like I could be like, hey ladies, like it would be so easy. It would be
It,
so easy.
it is. It is. It's good. It's easy. It's so easy. You're just like, oh, you didn't have to do anything. You can just like walk into somewhere and you're like, oh, hello. It's just like, okay.
Yeah, yeah. Easy mode activated, and like it only took a little bit of, you know, a little bit of work, and it was like, okay, I can get behind this. It was like I was taking creatine every day, and like I was going to McDonald's every day, and like, so calories and like creatine and like pumping iron, and I was like, and I attained a decent physique, uh and I was super strong. I would say in some lifts I was stronger then than now. Like, for example, now I'm a little bit neglecting my legs a little bit, but and now I'm, yeah,
Legs suck.
yeah, and now I'm way stronger in terms of like upper body, but I'm not training for strength now. I'm training to, because I've realized that people who get too jacked up, like when they age, like they can't keep it up, so their skin starts to sag, right? And it's
Yeah.
like it so it's like I realized, no, I wanna like attain a physique that I could keep, uh in when I'm still 50 or 60, and I think I've already achieved it. I would want to improve my leg strength a little bit now, but I do it simply because I like the consistency in my life. I like the consistency of the gym. It's like something that like keeps me motivated, keeps me, I don't know. It's like a way to connect with the body, because if not, everything for me is too intellectual, too, too spiritual in a sense, and like pumping iron to me, uh, like grounds me in like getting in touch with physical limitation, healthy, like becoming vigorous, like getting tired, like, normal rhythms of being
Mhm.
that not I end up neglecting, and like I know how bad my spiritual life becomes when I go sedentary, because like even my posture starts to like degrade, like
Yeah.
when it,
Yeah.
yeah, so
I feel that right
that's
now. I'm just like, oh. I was like,
yeah,
I mean, like, I run probably like right now, probably like twice a week. I run, just like go on like a 2 mile run, 3 mile run. Just
that's good.
it's more
That's
just
super
like a
good.
light jog. It's not even like a run, but it's just a. I gotta do it, and then like I'm good. I'm gonna get back in the gym here pretty soon. Maybe we'll see.
Yeah. Well, dude, I've never jogged in my life. Like, I only jogged when I was playing rugby, and even then I didn't like it, so I never got into it. I probably can't finish a mile if I try, probably. Like, Like a cardio, I hate cardio. Unless you put a ball in front of me, then I definitely like cardio. But like if it's just like run wherever you like until you're sore, then that doesn't appeal to me very much. But I wish I had taken advantage of the last years that I was living in Buenos Aires, because my friends were getting older and I was still in pretty good shape. So whenever we got to play football, like I would start like crushing them, like um. So yeah, that was fantastic. But I didn't enjoy it so much. But by then I was like super into reading about theology and such.
Mhm.
And now I feel like I can do it. I can't do either. I can do everything decently passively. Like it's like, okay, you can give me a guitar and I can play passively well. I can sing well, but it's like I don't do anything like really really well. Like nothing. I'm not a saint. My knowledge of theology is super thin. I'm not a philosopher. I'm not like a bodybuilder. I'm poor as shit. It's like
We're in the
I'm
club.
master. Yeah, I'm like jack of all trades, but master of none. And I feel like super bad that like I wish I had, that one thing that is like, oh yeah, I devote all my attention to this, but it's like, no, dude, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I don't need to be the best at anything. Like it's like I chose this life. I'm not. But it's
But no,
like
like I would say I feel the same way too. Like I mean, like I like give me a guitar, give me a piano, give me a violin, give me any instrument except like a wind instrument. I can play it decently. Sports now decently. Everything's like decent. And like the only thing that like I'm actually good at, which I had to like perfect a craft, was like construction work, and I don't even like doing that. It's annoying. I hate it. There's so much to do.
but what don't you like about it? I think it's such a noble craft, man.
It is, but there's just so much to do. There's so much. There's a lot, and you're always lifting heavy things, and you're always being in places you don't want to be. And there's bugs. I don't like bugs. I don't like bugs at all. Like I can't do bugs. They're just
Yeah.
that's the only weakness. You could you can tie me up and do you can have your way with me if you just like show me a spider. Like okay, but
Well, dude,
especially
I,
like what I did was like
go ahead.
plumbing. So that was like a very good trade. Became a
Mm,
master plumber.
mm,
Like I worked for my way up, knowing absolutely nothing, and working under mentors years and years and years and years and years until they taught
mhm,
me their whole craft. And then same thing I
mhm,
did with carpentry. Worked under master carpenters, did everything like that. To building cabinetry, building anything, furniture. Got really good at it, but but it's just
your
like
heart's not
it's
in it.
yeah, it's just like
Yeah, it's functional. It's
mm-hmm.
functional. But it's not. Yeah, I get it. I get it. Yeah.
Yeah. And then once people find out you're a plumber, they're just always like, "Oh, you're a plumber? My house doesn't drain right." Five thousand
Yeah.
dollars.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
I'm like, no, no, thank you. I
Yeah.
already do this for a living.
Yeah. I'm not gonna. I'm gonna. Yeah. No. Completely agree. Completely agree. Like, no, I don't know. Lately, there's very few things that get me like excited about like, I don't know. Like I'm excited about the faith. There's no craft like there's no craft that I'm like super into right now. It's like there's I wish there was. Like I mentioned my friend that was good at every sport, because like that guy what you could tell was that he loved like the elegance of movement, that kind of like aesthetic, simplicity of like an efficient and effective movement. Like he was very good at perfecting like physical techniques for sports. Not only was he a natural and he could pick these sports like super easily, and like he could like meta game in the sense of like he would very easily get into the mindset of like knowing where to expect like other players to be at a certain time without even having to look like he would like be able to predict where other people would be without seeing, because like he could gain that understanding super easily. And he would be very good at like perfecting like movement so that he was graceful and effective. So it's like it was very effortless for him to like become super good at those kinds of things. But you could tell that he would always like get, I wouldn't say frustrated, but like because perfecting a movement like has such a curve, which is like it gets exponentially harder the better you're at it, because like there's only so much that you can improve. And that he would quit just before becoming a master of things. And I understand why he simply lost interest in those things, because like he didn't see, like, even though he was really good, like he was not professional, like he wasn't fit to be a professional, like and I think that took a toll on him, because like he wanted to be a professional sportsman, but he basically had no sport like to play, like, because the only sport that could pay anything in Argentina was soccer, football, like we call football soccer, right? What you
Yeah.
guys call soccer. And like to be a good football player, like you had to be extremely good. And that was like the only game that he wasn't like insanely good at. And that was too bad. I felt sorry for him. Like I wish he could have gone to the States to become like a baseball player or something like that, because I think he could have, I don't know, done well enough. The thing is, he was kind of short. Like he's like me, 5'8", 5'9", right? And like even though he was well built, like still, like when you're like different sports like require different kinds of physiques. Like you can be short and play soccer. Like Messi is short and plays soccer, right? But
Yeah.
let's say basketball, you cannot be short and play basketball. He was a very good basketball player, but like, dude, if you're 5'8", you're not gonna be a professional basketball player. That's it. Like
Unless
not
you're
on the
like,
NBA.
unless you're at the level where it's just like, yeah, I know,
Yeah,
yeah, I get it.
you have to be a demigod to be able to play professionally. And
That's one sport I never played. I never played basketball, and I strictly we did that, and I strictly did that out of rebellion, because like everyone was like, "You're tall, you need to be on the basketball team," and the basketball coach out of school would keep coming up to me, "You gonna sign up for basketball?" I was like, "No." I was just
yeah,
like,
well,
"No."
dude,
I was like,
yeah,
and
the basketball players are on another league. Some of them are 7 foot, man.
yeah,
It's
but
like,
like, but for me, like, I couldn't get physical with people, like in basketball, the way I can get physical with people in other sports. Like I couldn't knock you out just because I was mad at you, and I just like, all right, I'm just gonna come up, drop my shoulder, and just lay it right into you. Just be
dude,
like,
in 2021, 2022 NBA season, the average basketball player was like 6'6". Like that was the average. That's the average. That, you're a child next to them.
I know, yeah, I am. I am.
I'm a toddler. I'm a toddler.
I have a friend. I have a friend, and like I see him very, very, very rarely, but he's 7'3". He's just like, "Hey,
Mhm.
what's up, Daniel? What's up, man?" Just like,
Dude, no, that it's this is insane.
huge.
This
He's
is insane.
huge.
Also, by the way, the basketball players have gotten heavier and heavier every year now.
They
So
have.
So it's not that it's a not contact clearly matters because you can see now it's gotten a little bit more violent. But the problem with those kinds of games is that you're out of luck if you have bad referees. Like it's the same with soccer. Like the
Or like
less con
football.
the less yeah it's like you're so dependent on like the way the referees are like interpreting the laws. So I that's one thing that I really disliked about like team sports with because like the referees only have so much attention they can spend. Like for example, it was very common during rugby matches that like someone would sneak a sucker punch like while no one's watching, like, and it's like like nothing will happen out of it. It will not be, but it's like if you're boxing, like all the attention is on you. If the other person does an illegal move, like it will be it will be like seen and like. But anyway, yeah, I'm digressing.
There's,
What I want to do. Go ahead. Go ahead.
oh no, go ahead. You're good.
I was gonna say that like this guy that really wanted to perfect like the efficiency of his movements, like he really loved that like that artfulness, that like technical mastery over things. In the same way that perhaps like a painter might appreciate a really good technique, or like there is an aesthetic pleasure that we get from like artfulness that I think I'm like super missing right now. In the sense that now the artfulness I care about is like the sophistication to be able to like talk to another person in a way that is let's say respectful of their human dignity. And like I think that's kind of what I the only thing that I value right now. It's more like, well, let's see how you relate to other people. It's like I like to see like what I imagine perhaps idolatrously to be like godly virtue. Like that's what gets me like super like excited. Like when I see I don't know, someone like image God. When I see someone who's like really doing something that is to me godly and virtuous, that's what gets me now excited. But it's not like you can go out of your way to practice holiness without like other people. It's like or at least in my, of course monks can practice holiness like in their own like approach to the spiritual life. But it's like I want to see people love each other, like real love, not like lovey-dovey, um not like niceness, not like um fake stuff, not I mean authentic, divinely inspired love. That's kind of like the thing I want to see, the thing I want to practice. And but it's tough, man, because we all have so many idols of God. Like we think like God is this way, and like, dude, we barely understand what God said to us. Like, and I don't mean to say, oh no, the faith is arbitrary or anything like that. I'm saying, dude, God was super clear. It's us who don't understand. We don't understand because we're so like fallen that we interpret things however we want, and then we're indignant that we don't get our own way. It's ridiculous. It's
Yeah,
ridiculous.
my dad, like my dad, has said the same thing to us several times. Us boys, um, was like, how dare you ever get arrogant in the gospel? It's like you know nothing. It's like, it's like, don't ever be arrogant within the gospel. Otherwise, it's like you're here to spread the message. That's it. You're not here to be an arrogant person who knows everything.
Yeah, it's super deep. it's super deep. The faith is super super deep, and um, I just wish that I was a little bit better at like living it out, because I see so many people who are hungry for the word, but at the same time, it's like we're so crappy with each other. Like we're so crappy. It's like what I was telling you the other day about like how could you believe in God if all you ever saw was people being self-serving, selfishness. If all you saw was selfishness,
Mhm.
how would you believe in God? It's impossible. It would be, and by impossible I mean like God can do it. God can like put that love in your heart if you're willing to like to try to honestly seek for Him. But at the same time, it's like it's so easy to fall into utopianism, like, oh, this political ideology will save me, or like this and that. And it's all just an attempt to control others, to control the world. Oh, shit, man. I Lord have mercy. When I sometimes I try to do it, like, I don't always catch myself as I'm thinking, like sometimes I'm having blasphemous thoughts. I'm sometimes I'm selfish in ways that I don't even see, and it's like, dude, I'm betraying. Like I'm ashamed. I'm betraying everything I thought I stood for. It's like when I was a child, when I was 5 years old, all I wanted to be was a knight. I wanted to be a knight in shining armor. I wanted to like fight the bad guys. I wanted to uh defend the poor and the helpless, and like uphold righteousness. And man, what a wretch. Now
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, like when I was a kid, like all I wanted to do, like growing up, was do what my father did, which is join the army, go to war, fight,
mm,
fight for what's right. That's what you're here for.
mm,
Never join the military. And I'm glad I
mm,
did, but I never joined it. Did join a
mm.
militia though.
Well, if things hit the fan, then you've got some buddies who can.
We'll be out there on the battlefield. We'll be out there. Don't worry. We're ready.
Anyways, yeah, dude, it's so hard. Like I see people. The thing is, people are tricky,
Mhm.
because I saw an anti-Semitic joke that was like it was like, oh, the Jew like they complain as they strike back, like they bitch about being persecuted as they're trying to persecute you, which, I mean, it's an opinion that people express nowadays, which is weird that people feel so emboldened to share it, and I don't judge them at all. It's like, okay, that's your opinion, man. And
Yeah.
I was thinking, like, dude, but aren't we all like that at times? Like, um the same people who are asking for mercy are the same people who would crucify you in a blink of an eye. Like, it's
Yeah.
like, and we see it. It's especially egregious with progressives who have like such a like moralistic, worldly philosophy, and you see them in their personal like relationships, and they suck. They really suck. They're like hypocritical vampires, and like I I I see, for example, like I bitched about women in, in this stream, but like I see, for example, women in at church who you can see they're so hungry for Christ, but like they want their Christ. They want their idol of Christ. They don't want the real Christ. Like they want Christ to save them from the cross. And it's like, dude, no, no, no. Christ will walk with you and will help you carry it, but he will
Yeah.
not remove the cross.
Yeah.
And
Like
it's like,
us, you bear that for life.
yeah, and like I'm so sorry. I feel sorry for them. I'm beyond. There was a time where I was really like scornful of them. It was like, oh, these fake, these fake Christians. You know, these larpers who they want like hippie Jesus. They want like Jesus to make things good. Like they make Jesus into a therapist. You know, it's like they
Mhm.
want to be like happy and well adjusted, and they use God as a crutch in their search for that. And now I'm beyond that, let's say, disdain, which was doing a lot of evil in my heart and outside of it. I feel so sorry because I think, man, we got to step up the game. Like me personally, what I really think right now is that, dude, we men, we need to step up. Like we need to like really like take our faith seriously and become the pillars of our communities without receiving any recognition for it. Because the problem is, like, I see a lot of people in the manosphere go like, um oh, but these women, they want this and that and this and that. Like, dude, stop bitching, man, stop bitching. Even if you
Yeah.
were right, like, even if you were right, what are you doing about it? You're doing nothing. Like, you're still a coomer. You're still a coomer. Like,
Mhm.
and like, what I feel is that if we men, we get our shit together, then perhaps the West can be saved, but not under the banner of like a political ideology. No, 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 no. It has to be Christ. If
Yeah.
without Christ, like, shit will not get better without Christ. Because what we need to do is to woo the people back in. Like, we have to. The people are left. Let's say Catholics. They left Catholicism and Protestantism. Like, and I take the criticism that some Protestants make of Orthodoxy as like the new kids on the block, like, because it's interesting and it's like foreign and exotic. I take that criticism. It's probably correct in the case of many people who are just like, well, might as well try Orthodoxy, right? It's like, I've tried Protestantism, didn't fit me. I tried Catholicism, didn't fit me. Well, might as well, right? Like, it sounds cool. It has like nice aesthetics. The liturgy is fantastic. Let's try this out, right? And while I myself, I'm not. I haven't seen the numbers, but like, I'm not scared about attrition rates. It's like, because I trust God to do what He, like, it's His church. Like, I'm not like, God. Oh, you missed a spot. Like, this guy, he left the church, right? It's like, no, no, it's not God's fault. Like, God calls. Like, He knows who's going to answer. Like that. We're not going to be cheating
We're
God.
all predestined.
We Orthodox don't see it that way. We see God's omniscience, but it's like we always have a choice. I think predestination is well, never mind. And like, the way I see it is that, like, men who are expecting to be recognized for their efforts are such little bitches, are such little baby bitches, baby who wants recognition.
Did you want candy? You did the good thing. You want candy? Here you go. Here you go.
Yeah,
It's okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you. Carry on. Do it again, and I'll give you 3 candies.
yeah. That's not a Christian, man. How can
Yeah.
you, like, the, it's like, are you a Christian because, like, you want to like shore up the possibility of Christ like being real? Because that's a lame Christianity. Like, oh, I'm gonna take up the cross because I want to be in paradise. But like, dude, what's the cross you're taking? Like, it's literally like, if you're looking for candy, you're not taking up the cross.
Yeah.
And
And like And I know plenty of people, especially like on Instagram. I see like a lot of like friends that have to go like I grew up knowing. We're still all friends on like on Instagram and everything like that. And they'll like quote all the scripture on their Instagram. Like, you don't even go to church. You don't even have a Bible. Like, and I don't mean like judgmental to them or anything like that, but it's just like, are you saved? Well, I don't know if I'm saved, but I know God loves me because in John 3:16 he said, "For God so loved the world." I'm just like, are you sure about that? Do you know what that means? Do you know what we're talking about here? Oh.
Yeah. The thing is, God does love them, but like they don't love God. That's the problem. That's the problem. That's
all right, man.
And also,
go ahead.
Like, it's not such a big deal. It's not such a big deal. Like when I read the lives of the saints, my cross is pathetic next to them. It's like the challenges I have to face. Oh, financial struggles. Ugh. Ugh. Dude.
Have you ever been crucified down?
Yeah, man. Like, you know, and then there's the
flayed.
Yeah, flayed alive and boiled, boiled alive.
Yeah. Like, well, have you ever been? Who was the one who was put in the bowl? I can't remember who that was.
There's plenty of saints who have been boiled. Like, do you know that when you boil a person alive, like the boiling water turns red because, like, as they rupture, like the boiling water scalds their like and ruptures their veins and their arteries. So it's like, ugh, you get like a tea, like a human tea. It's like,
yeah, you liquefy them. Just like, but like, and then there was like I forgot, was it was it in Corinth where they invented the bull sacrifice, where like they would have a bronze bull and then have a fire in it and then put them inside the bull and roast them alive inside of it? Was that in Corinth? I can't remember.
I don't know. That sounds like a worship of Moloch. But like that could be in Cain, and that could be any like lots of places.
Yeah, I can't remember who was burnt in there, but like the pagans sacrificed this somebody. I don't remember who it was. They sacrificed him to their god, and they put him inside of a burning bull, and like he was a sacrifice to them. I can't remember unless I'm completely wrong about this, which I don't think I am.
Let's say brazen bull of Pharaohs, ancient Greece, yes. Yes, invented proposed to do a tyrant of a crowd, Sicily as a new means of execution. Okay. The person was then slowly roasted to death. The bull was equipped with an internal acoustic apparatus that converted the screams of the dying into what sounded like the bellows of a bull.
Oh, it was
yeah.
Saint Antipas? Saint Antipas?
Saint Eustace and Saint Antipas.
Antipas, yeah. Antipas was burned in 92 AD. That's what it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
whack.
My phone's only on 20%.
Yeah. Lord have mercy, man.
Yeah,
we're so weak compared to the Saints. We're so weak, so pathetically weak. And then these guys they're like, oh, but I want a trad wife. Where's my trad wife? It's like, dude, you're 18. You have done nothing but masturbate. Like that's your highest achievement now. It's like your trad wife. Like, what are you
You-
talking about?
You masturbate and you watch YouTube. That's all you do.
That's all. It's like, dude.
It's like, what have you done to even earn? Like, and I don't mean this as like a, well, I think like I don't know. I sometimes feel like what have you like as a man in your life to earn a good woman for that woman to be like, okay, yeah, I trust you. And you're just like, because I'm like, you can get a trad wife, and like the trad wife can find some guy who jerks off and watches YouTube and plays Halo all day.
Hmm.
And I wonder how well that will go. But anyways, my friend, I have to go.
Yeah, it's been a long stream.
Yeah, we're already almost at 3 hours. We're at 2:25.
Yeah.
I do have to go. It's already almost 6 o'clock, and I got to get ready, go out to dinner. Got to go shower.
Fantastic. Well, it's been fantastic talking to you, man. You notice that we didn't talk about theology almost at all.
Yeah, well, this is fine. This is a lot better.
Yeah. It was
Well,
fun. It was fun.
We'll save theology for the weekday
Yeah.
after the weekend. Let my brain recuperate. I need something stupid.
Yeah. Well, see you, man.
All right. Take care, my friend. Have a good night.
Yeah, you too.
Studio leave.